Okay, thank you everybody for joining us this morning. We have Coach Cook here. We'll start with questions. Brent Wagner, would you like to start it off?
Yeah. Hi, John. I guess what's this bubble going to look like in Omaha? How isolated is the team going to be? What can and can't you do inside this bubble?
We have, I think we're at the Marriott Hotel. We can go to a practice facility after we go through so we're basically going to be up there for 2 days before we can do anything. So we go in Monday night, and I think our first practice is Wednesday, but you got to test out of it. So we're going to pretty much be isolated at the hotel for 48 hours or whatever. And, it's a convention center, so I haven't seen it, but there's courts set up in the convention center. I'm guessing there are going to be somehow curtains separating them. They're hauling our Terraflex floors up there to use. And we have a very limited travel party that's with us. We're going to be, we can't take everybody we normally take. So there's going to be some adjustments there. And our nutritionist is really working hard on finding ways to feed everybody and make it creative, and we're not just sitting at the hotel. So, but we can go outside. Hopefully it'll be nice weather next week, and we can get outside a little bit while we're waiting around. It's one of the hard things about not having a bye is it's another day you got to wait around.
You walk to the arena for your matches?
We can, yeah, if it's nice out. I mean, the Marriott's right there, so we've stayed there before, and I think we walked over. So it just depends on the weather, and so yeah, that's no problem.
It's kind of like a club tournament.
It's exactly like a club tournament.
Lincoln Arneal, Omaha World Herald.
What you say the 48 hours? Are you working on what that plan will look like when you can't practice or routine? I mean, how different will that be than your normal match routine?
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out. So our strength coach and Lindsay we're talking with the Marriott where we're staying and seeing what kind of meeting room we have there so we can do something. We just can't sit around all day. We're trying to get out and go outside somewhere. So we just don't want to sit in the hotel all day. I know what results that brings, and so we're trying to be creative on that. But you pretty much got to test Monday night, you test Tuesday morning, and then you get the results back Wednesday, I think, or Tuesday night. So you just pretty much you got to stay within your group and your bubble till we get cleared to go and our practice on Wednesday.
How have the girls responded getting back to practices this week after taking kind of a light week off last week?
Great. Energy's been awesome. I think they're excited. It's been a long time since we played, so I think they're pretty fired up.
Emily Eman, Big Ten Network.
Hey, Coach. Looking a little more big picture here, what do you think has kind of been the most challenging part of the last year and a half? We've waited so long, and now we're finally here. What has the most challenging part been for you?
The start stops. I think the rhythm of a season, you're playing, you're grinding, either Wednesday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday, you're playing all these great teams. So you're just kind of in a great rhythm. You're moving. You got your routine every week. Essentially, since early August, it's start, stop, start, stop. We're playing, we're not playing. And I just think that, for athletes, that's really hard. For coaches, it's even harder, I think, because we're used to being in that routine and that grind. And I really miss it. It's almost, like last week, what do we do? You just kind of sit around. You don't know who you're playing. You don't know, when you're playing, any of that. So trying to keep everybody moving and sharp is really hard. And I think mentally it's really hard on the athletes to keep their focus. So that's been the hardest part.
Kevin Suits, 10-11.
John, generally, you have a pretty good feeling about your team or an idea of how they may perform in the NCAA tournament, given the structure and routine of a normal year. How do you feel about this group, knowing of the long layoff you'll have before the first round match next Wednesday?
I feel if we play like we train, I feel great. The question is, how will we handle the environment, the layoff, the nerves of the NCAA tournament? I take some comfort in knowing that we have a pretty experienced team who's been there before. So it may take us a while to play into it, but like I said, if we can play like we're training, that'll be awesome. It's just there's going to be so many variables that we're not used to once we get there that we have to deal with. I am a little concerned about not, having a bye and not playing that first day. I think it may take us a while to kind of get our bearings a little bit and get going, but I know we'll play hard, and I think our ceiling is pretty high that we can play at if we get things rolling.
Henry Cordes, Omaha World Herald.
Oh, there we go. Hey, Coach. Thanks for the opportunity. Obviously, one of the reasons the tournament is being held in Omaha is because Omaha was already scheduled to host the Final Four anyway. But if the NCAA was going to pick a single place to host all 48 teams, do you think they could have come up with a better place than Omaha and Nebraska?
I don't think Omaha does amateur sports events better than any place in the country. Columbus might argue with that, another similar type town. But Omaha does it great. So I think Omaha is a perfect choice. What would have liked to have seen different is instead of setting up courts in a convention center, let's use the great facilities in Omaha and even in Lincoln. So we could have used the Devaney, Sokol, Baxter Arena, and we could have had some really nice venues that teams could have gone and played in. Still, you don't have to fill them up with fans, but I just think that is a lot nicer of an NCAA tournament because those are three great facilities, and then kind of the setup that they've got now, which is in a convention center, no locker rooms, no bathrooms. It's going to be really interesting how this is all pulled off.
From any of your coaching brethren about their thoughts about all coming to Omaha?
Not really. I really haven't talked to anybody. I just think I was on a call yesterday that a lot of coaches are concerned about the setup, in Omaha, in the convention center with some of the things I just mentioned. The practice times. We have a practice time at 7:40 in the morning. We have a practice time an hour before our match on Thursday. I mean, we don't practice an hour before our match on a game day. So there's just a lot of stuff like that everybody's going to have to kind of navigate and was concerned about. And then the logistics of actually playing a match and, having a locker room, having a whiteboard, having bathrooms, things like that. Where do they change? The volleyball players warm up and then they change in their uniforms. I mean, how's that going to work in your middle of a, convention hall C? So I just think that's what most of I heard is coaches are concerned about.
If I could ask one more about fans, as I understand it, each team is going to get about 80 tickets for those early round matches. We know when the Final Four has been held in Omaha, the crowd, and Nebraska has been there every time, the crowds have played a big role. What do you anticipate? And obviously, if you get to the regional finals, there could be as many as 4,000 fans there. What impact do you think the crowds could have on this tournament compared to, what we're used to in Omaha?
Yeah, I don't know because I haven't actually totally seen the setup. I mean, it'll be nice to have some people there, but there'll definitely be something missing not having 18,000 in that big arena, watching volleyball. And that's what we've seen before. So again, this is going to be a big adjustment, I think, for teams, just like the season has been, playing Big Ten matches in front of very few people. I mean, that's about how many people I think we get in our matches here. We might have a little bit more. So I don't know how much the crowd will be a factor, your teams are going to have to bring their own energy.
Yeah.
Jacob Padilla, Hail Varsity.
We'll hear about the Big Ten postseason honors later today, but Nicklin obviously all Big Ten last year. This year went out, led the conference in assists. What have you seen from her in terms of her leap from one season to the next overall and the way she's played this year?
Yeah. Nate, hasn't the Big Ten stuff already come out? Oh, it hasn't? Oh. Well, I think Nicklin's worked hard to refine her setter position. And we've spent a lot of time with her. Tyler's worked with her, just like I said, to refine and polish her game. And I think it's made her a more confident setter. And I think she's has expanded her range on what she can set and what she can do. And it's made us a little bit more unpredictable. So I think that's why the biggest way you guys can measure it is look at what our middles are hitting. So they're hitting very high numbers, and they're getting a lot of sets. In the past, we've had middles that maybe the last 2 years hit good numbers but didn't get a lot of sets. I mean, we got a middle averaging over three kills a game, and the other one's 2.5 or somewhere in there. So our middle threat's a lot more, and I think that's a reflection of the work she's done and the confidence she has.
Final question from Brent Wagner.
Yeah, you said you can't take some people to Omaha that you normally would. What's the travel party limit from the NCAA, and like who are some of the people you can't take?
Well, we have to choose between taking players. This is what the NCAA does to you. Our travel party's 27, so you can research and see what basketball was. I'm sure they were more than 27. So we have 17 players. So that leaves us 10 people, and that you have to include an administrator in there. So that leaves 9 people. And, so for us, it's our coaches, our director of ops. So we're leaving behind social media. Nick's not in our travel group. Our sports psychologist is not in our travel group. So we had to make choices, and basically taking the coaches and administrators and our team. And that's what we decided to do.
All right, we'll be right back with Nicklin Hames.
When's your last practice in Lincoln going to be?
Monday. So we practice here Monday and then head up.
All right, we'll be right back. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thanks.